Welcome everyone to Hear and Heal. This is Minister Connie Spearman. This is our second round of talking about anxiety. Now, I had talked and shared my story last week regarding how I had anxiety off of the death of my son and then having a miscarriage, which led into a panic attack disorder and how the Lord delivered me from it. I also have someone here today that's going to share a powerful testimony of how she had anxiety and what she went through the death of her daughter. And that's Sharon Williams. Sharon, welcome to Hear and Heal. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm pretty good today. Thank
Great.
God.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. Um, I would like for you to share what you went through. Um, Tell us the story how you lost your daughter and what you went through with anxiety and all the process that you had to go through until you was delivered. So we're going to let you speak on that.
Well, my daughter, my firstborn, India, Dr. India Christian, she was murdered by her husband, Corey Christian. It was a murder suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I didn't see it coming. I mean, she seemed sort of depressed in the latter months, but she never really talked about it too much.
Right.
And I maybe because she thought she could take care of the problem herself. I don't know what it was. But when it happened, and it happened in February of this year, I was so depressed because she's my firstborn. And,
Mm-hmm.
I just thought I would never get over it. I could never figure out. It was just such a waste to me
Mm-hmm.
and to everybody. I
Right.
couldn't figure out what made her husband, who I thought loved her, what made him do this. I mean, they had everything a couple could want. She had her own business. She made good money. He made
Right.
good money. I just couldn't understand. I don't know if he was a former high school football player, and so
Mm-hmm.
his daughters are now saying that he had CTE. Of course, I
Mm-hmm.
haven't gotten any written proof on that, so I
Okay.
don't know whether he did or not. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I know that he seemed different in the
Right.
latter months before her death. He seemed just different. He seemed to have lost weight. He seemed he was dark in the face. Under his eyes
Right.
were like dark, and
Mm-hmm.
it just something. It was something wrong, but I just couldn't really put my finger on it until my daughter started talking to me about how he started not trusting her. He
Wow.
started not believing her. He started just
Mm-hmm.
acting really, really strange around her.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what happened. Whether it was I can't say what happened. If it was drugs, if it was drinking, if I cannot say, and I don't want to
Right.
put that out on him. Whatever the problem was, I just know I had a problem with it for a while, for months after her passing. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
sleep. I was always depressed and didn't know didn't know what to do because it was bothering me to the point where I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to do
Mm-hmm.
anything. Just
Mm-hmm.
couldn't understand why. She had a business, and it was running well. It was just a waste. So I had become so angry. I just wanted to go and dig Corey's body back up and just kill him again myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had to start praying about it because it was getting the
Right.
best of me.
Right.
I had to start, and this is for anybody who I would tell this to anybody. God must have sent angels to me or something because one morning I woke up and I don't know whether I dreamed about it or what, but I was just so upset and depressed. Even with
Mm-hmm.
friends and family calling me, it wasn't. I mean, I was thankful for that, but it just didn't take it
Right.
away, the pain away. So finally, as I kept praying and praying, it seemed like the Lord sent his angels to tell me, Sharon, this is only killing you. I want you to know that your daughter is with me. And I really
Right.
believe that because God, and this is for anybody who has
It's-
gone through this kind of depression and anguish about losing a loved one, God
Right.
can do all things. And He revealed that to me. He has
Right.
saved people that's been shot up 15, 20 times at one time and
Right.
lived.
And
And
yes.
and he, I mean, it seems like he told me that Corey, quit saying Corey killed her. I took your daughter. I took your
Oh.
daughter because it was my will. It was her time to come home. And I
Mm.
took her out of her worries.
Wow.
So that's when I started being thankful to God. And that's when I could forgive Corey because I was giving Corey the credit for taking my daughter, killing my daughter,
Mm.
when actually he tried to kill her, but it was God who took her in the end.
Mm-hmm.
It was God.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what gives me solace to know
Mm-hmm.
that it was not Corey. It
Right.
was God. It was God who took
Right.
her and made her better, made it better for her, took her out of her misery, out of her worrying, because she
Right.
was going through some things. And I could tell she tried to fix Corey herself. She tried praying to him at night when he would go through these temper tantrums. She was at her wits' end with trying to fix him. And her
Mm.
daughter and myself, we talked to her on the phone on a conference call. We told her, India, you
Right.
can't fix this. Just leave him. You
Just
can't
leave.
fix
Yeah.
him. But she stayed and she said, Mommy, I'll read scriptures to him out of the Bible when he get really outrageous. And she said, and that helps a little bit, but only rarely. And I just couldn't figure out why do you stay? But she stayed with him, and he finally, he shot at her. But like I said, I will never give that credit to him anymore. I
Right.
forgive Corey.
Exactly.
God took
Exactly.
my daughter and put her. She's in a much better place now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she had, what if she had to live? She may have been a
Mm-hmm.
vegetable,
Right.
or she may have never gotten over the fact that her husband tried to kill her and then killed himself. God
Right.
knows best. I just look at it like that, and that's what gives me solace to know that God knows
Right.
best. We all have a time to
Right.
go, so even we're
Right.
human, and we miss our
Right.
loved ones, and that's what a lot of the grief is because we miss
Right.
them. But we have to stop and think that there's a time that we're supposed to go,
Exactly.
and only God knows, that time, and only God knows because God can save each one of us. He
Right.
can let us live longer, but
Right.
when it's His will
His
and it's
will.
time to go,
Right.
it's time to go, no
Now,
matter what.
before you had that dream and God came to comfort you, you were feeling like there was like no hope for the
I was
anguish
feeling
you
no
was
hope.
feeling.
Yes, I was feeling angry at even God. I felt angry at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
God revealed to me some kind of way. I don't know whether it was angels that came into my mind, but I really believe that God sent word to me
Mm-hmm.
that He took my daughter because of His will, not
Mm-hmm.
because of anybody else's doing. It was
Mm-hmm.
her time to leave this world and to come home. He brought her
Now
home.
how now from that, how are you feeling today? You every day you wake up, do you feel like you have peace of
Yes,
mind, peace in
yes, I
your
do.
heart?
Yes, I do. And when you look at it as God's doing, it brings you peace. There's no
Right.
more mourning. There's no more hatred, no more anger, no more depression. I
Mm-hmm.
just say, that's my solace. I just know that it was God's doing. God took her because God could do all things. God could have
You could
saved
do
her.
all things. Exactly.
God could have saved her. There's, like I
Mm-hmm.
said previously, there's been people that's been shut up, I don't know how many times, and lived through it. But it
Right.
was God's will to take her
Mm-hmm.
back home with Him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just look at it like she's in a beautiful place now. She's in a better place. and
Now,
she,
what
there's
would
no more tears.
right now? What would you
Hmm.
say to people that is in a domestic relationship that, as a mother,
Uh,
and as what you went through with your daughter being in an
mm-hmm.
abusive relationship, what would
Mm-hmm.
you say to them today?
I would tell them to, pray about it, and it's muster as much courage and faith as you can in the Lord that He's going to put you in a better place. Just leave because there's something what you can't fix. You have to just give to God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What we can't fix as humans.
Mm-hmm.
You can try and try, but what you can't fix, leave it alone. Leave it and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it there. Turn it over to God. But you don't have to carry that burden.
Right.
You don't have
Exactly.
to go through life carrying any burden because God didn't intend for us to carry burdens.
That's right. First Peter 5:7 says, for us to
Exactly.
cast our cares upon him because he cares for us. And that's why we have the hear and heal, for people to hear what we're saying and be
Exactly.
healed from whatever they're going through. That's why it's called
Right.
hear and heal. Um,
Right.
that was very powerful, Sharon. How the grief and the loss, you still was able to have faith in God to deliver
Yes.
you and to
Mm-hmm.
heal your heart, and also forgiveness. Forgiveness is powerful.
Yes,
Um,
it is. Mm-hmm.
yes, you have to forgive the offender, the person that did that
Exactly.
to you,
Exactly.
and I
Yes.
believe that's where the complete healing came in because you decided to forgive the person that killed your daughter.
Exactly. And you have to remember the Lord's Prayer. That was the only prayer that Jesus recited and taught us. That was the first prayer, is to forgive our debtors as we forgive those against who trespasses against us. So I had to keep reciting that and keep looking at that in order to, have to forgive Corey, because it takes a lot to forgive someone when you feel like someone has done you so wrong. You
Right,
have to remember
exactly.
what we were taught by God, the Holy Spirit, by Jesus and the
Right,
Holy Spirit.
right,
You have to rely on that.
right,
When you love someone, it's just hard to look at them and that they've changed so much that they've gotten that bad to where they want you gone. You
mm-hmm.
know, And another reason is, a lot of us women do things out of habit. You know, she was used to Corey. She loved him. Corey to her was everything because she wasn't raised in an abusive situation. She was raised by myself and my mom. Of course, I wasn't with her dad, but, uh, and that could have had something to do with it a little bit because he didn't really recognize India uh, for years when she was coming up because he just didn't he wasn't ready for a child. And I really took the burden of when I had her all on myself because I wanted a child at the time. I wanted a child, and I did have sense enough to realize that I had never talked it over with him, her dad, to have a kid with him. You know, I didn't say, well, let's get married, which I should have, but at that time I didn't think like that. And a lot of young girls today, they don't think about, well, all they want is a child. All they want is a baby
Yeah,
because their friends had a baby or something. Myself, I thought the guy was nice looking, so I wanted to have a kid. But
mm-hmm.
I did acknowledge that he really didn't wasn't ready for a kid. He didn't want a
Right,
kid. My mom
right,
tried to make us get married and him marry me, but I told my mom I don't want to get married. He's not ready, and I don't want that. So I don't know, have not having her, but but India had my dad around, my
Yeah,
mom and dad, and they had a great relationship.
yeah,
My dad was
yeah,
the best. They treated
yeah,
India like she was their own.
yeah.
yes,
So, because I had India when I was still in school, I was going to University of Pittsburgh, and and she would stay at home with my mom and dad. But so India didn't have it rough when she was coming up. She was not in an abusive relationship with any man or anything. Couldn't believe that he was acting like that, and thought she could straighten it out. Lot of women, lot of us women think, oh, he's, I can make it better.
Yeah.
But not realizing that this is serious. We can't make someone better if the person's not already that way. There's nothing you can do to make a person better, or to make a person. If you have to make a person change to the way you want them or make them better, get going, because it ain't going to
That's
work.
right. It's not going to work. Right.
If they're not into it, it's not going to work. And if they don't, and if God, and if you pray and pray and pray, and there's no change, then God is telling you that's not the person for you. And that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
If you have to keep on praying to God for that person to change, God is just trying to tell you himself to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But India just wouldn't leave. She loved Corey. She loved Corey to death. And we all thought he loved her because we didn't see any kind of abuse by him. They gave the best, they were the best host and hostess up at their house. But, I don't know what the problem was. All I know is that, when you don't see a relationship getting better, just leave. It's too many men out there. And for men, too many good women to stay in a bad relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that. That was very, very powerful in how
Thank
you
you.
went through that and God delivered you, He healed you. And that's a good message for all women that are in an abusive relationship. Don't stay, get out. And if
Yeah,
you
don't
are
stay.
going
It's
through
not
any
worth it.
kind of anxiety, God can deliver you. He
Yes,
says
you
to
will.
cast all your cares upon Him. And that's even dealing with a domestic relationship. Therefore, those are some very powerful things that you said, Sharon. We appreciate you being on here in Healed segment of anxiety. I don't know if we're going to have a third segment of of anxiety on here in Heal, but I appreciate your time. I believe that this here will be a really powerful breakthrough for someone that is going through trauma or loss of a loved one, and they're going through anxiety. So please share. Also, don't forget to go onto my website, www.conniespearman.com, for the book called Lord, I Hear You. I'm wearing my t-shirt today. I don't know if anybody can see it, but I got my t-shirt on. So we thank you for listening in and have a blessed day.